It's always fun to watch. Start of these series, players start to feel each other out, kind of get an idea for how these lanes are going to go, who's going to get the aggressive upper foot there. For all we know, the only information they could have on each other is that they both lost to UCF.
30 seconds until minions spawn.
That's potentially the case. I'd expect a little bit more, right? People generally do a lot of solo queue scouting. They do a lot of account scouting. To, gain that information, right? They want to learn what you play, what your preferences are. Maybe if you've been testing anything, if they can see any recent scrims. Obviously, scrim results really shouldn't be leaked. So usually they don't go and just ask teams, oh, have you ever scrimmed this, team? What are they like, right? They go and they say, okay, what are they playing in solo queue to practice up mechanically? How does that play into the compositions of the current meta? And then they make a decision. So scrim results aside, unless you literally scrimmed this team, which usually doesn't happen, I would say that most of the scouting, and there is always scouting, is done based on, OPGGs, finding that link, and finding out, who's playing what.
It's always good to get yourself that draft information there, but it doesn't exactly translate well to playstyle, doesn't translate to strategies and the tempo that they're going to be coming into this game with. So this is the part where I feel like both teams just wanted to play it safe. I mean, they drew the line of scrimmage. They both start at their blue buff. The red and should leave Rek'Sai top side a little sooner if they do want to go for that early enough pressure in onto the Scion. I think it makes sense off the rip early, although look at this. The beating in the bottom lane already. Nidalee one trick here onto the Twitch. Gonna play a little bit more passively.
Kind of what, you expect. It's Twitch. He does get pushed out. He does get bullied a bit. If he doesn't, you're not really doing your job as Karma. So we're going to expect a little bit more pressure. He doesn't really have any kind of spell shield or way to answer this damage. Yeah, and we see there just the range mismatch. Or I should say, good match for the side of Montreal means that they can just keep poking out Alistair until he gets to can't even dream of going in. And even if he did, the Twitch is like half HP. Ignite takes down another third to quarter of his health, and then they can just keep going in.
Keep in mind, too, each pick for the bot lane here, the side of Oregon, was picked knowing its counterpoint already. They grabbed the Twitch knowing that it was going to be into the Jhin. They grabbed the Alistair knowing that it would be up against the Karma, so this is certainly kind of the bed they made for themselves.
Yeah, but certainly at 6, right, you can see the reasons they would do it. At 6, Karma has no way of getting close to Twitch, right? You walk up, Alistair knocks you back out. That's it. Twitch will have free ultimates, he'll have free damage, he'll have free poke, just burst as well. His, at 6, he gets a bunch of autos on you, the stacks proc, and then he expunges, and you just take a bunch of damage. Before 6, this is kind of the story, They did decide, yeah, we're going to take a little bit of a loss, but with this 1 here, maybe they're going to turn that around.
That's the root up, very close though, point blank range, has to be careful getting out of this one. This could be a kill actually, if it's not flashback in just to get the summoner heal. They didn't know how aggressive Majesty was going to go, but they did have to back that one off, and Nidalee one trick, having to use both those summoners to save the life of his ganking jungler. Well, I'm sure he's not too happy about that one, at least off the rip. Pretty big pickup coming out for Universite de Montreal.
Yeah, they got an extra heal for their troubles and forced the flash out of the Twitch. It's summoner-wise, right? It's an even trade until you realize that flash goes down. The Twitch not having flash, so dangerous, but the top lane already first blood down.
Yeah, it's going to be a flash falling in under tower. That's going to be dangerous, but Rishi Kids are out. A-okay, so he does pick up the return kill. Can't be too great now if you are Mysterio. Can feel a little bit of that pressure because he did technically die in the solo sense and maybe could have lasted a little bit longer had that Rek'Sai just been out a second and a half earlier, but ifs and buts were candies and nuts.
It's really hard to actually say that you could play that any better as the Poppy. The Scion just seems to get, good matchups because it's hard to kill him, right? Poppy goes in, she starts doing the Q damage, but even if you pin him, even if you dash out of one of his Qs, it's up so frequently. It has CC, it has great damage, great range. That's really his main tool of just winning these duels, and we see there, right? He has more HP left over after all of the trades are said and done. Even though they have the same items coming back in, if they have the same items, he's shown himself to be able to win the duel.
Ooh, speaking of winning a duel. This could be close. Enigma getting very low. Not fooled at all by the clone. And
Rek'Sai bot.
meanwhile, yeah, we got a 3v3 coming in the bot lane. Both junglers saying, how do you do? But Douchey is the one getting the pressure down quickly. That's a flash in from Karma. Wants to get more stunned out, though. Nidalee one trick. No summoners from last time. That makes it easy for the Rek'Sai. More to come, as that one's going to be Leash Sin going down. Can they get the root off? That could mean disaster for Not Tanner, but he avoids becoming burgers just yet and does survive. There is no curtain call. There is no way to lock that one down, but it is a huge pickup for Montreal in the bot lane.
Yeah, really massive play, and this is the power of the Jhin Karma early, right? There's no way for Alistar Twitch to really contest pre-6. That's just kind of the way that the cookie crumbles. You don't have the damage, you don't have the burst, you don't have, you know, anything. Your jungler does less damage than the Rek'Sai as well, so the Sejuani, when she comes in, she might have the CC, but there's just not enough follow-up, and they commit to the 3 versus 3, lose it, and potentially you're going to lose this Cloud Drake as well. The Sejuani's just over the wall, doesn't get there in time, though. And so the Cloud Drake will be picked up for the benefit after a 3-kill advantage. Now the gold lead has swung solidly in the favor of Montreal.
And giving a Cloud Drake over to a Karma and a Rek'Sai, just a little bit of compounding interest on that moving speed.
And the Poppy.
Yeah. Oh,
and
yeah, the Poppy, of course. How could I forget? You're so right to remind me. Mercy. This is going to be, yeah, a little bit of an uphill struggle coming into this one now if you are the side of Oregon. They're by no means out of this game yet, but 2K down at just on the door, 7 minutes, and that Drake, well, they're going to feel these things. This is where they need to start.
Lysandre's getting pinched.
Yeah, this is where they need to start turning things back around, and they give it a go, but Lysandre, of course, always able to just kind of get away with a very quick Ice Claw and move right on along.
It's just like LeBlanc, right? We mentioned LeBlanc being super hard to gank in this mid lane. The same goes for the Lysandre. We see it right there. Ice Claw pretty much is a free dash. You know, you can choose to retrigger it, you can choose not to retrigger it. You don't have to commit to it. A lot of times people have to hedge their bets. Sometimes they split 1 and 1, and especially if they split 1 and 1 and you're full HP, generally you're still going to live. So at 7, especially post 6, Enigma, super hard to kill as well. We'll have to see if they ever really try it. I don't expect it. Mysterio, obviously, we talked about the top lane pressure. He has already gone down without the jungler showing up. If Leash Sin wants to make the difference, though, it's going to have to be in this top or the bot side, but Rek'Sai is kind of deciding on top because the bot lane is solo winning.
Oh my goodness, yeah, and you saw Not Tanner get back in there just to try to get some delay out there, just to hold things off, because he knew he wasn't going to get out, but if he went down early enough, that could have been more pressure on Nidalee, but this is going to be more now Douchey in some trouble. Will this be the first death for the Rek'Sai? The answer is yes, and picking up a very much needed kill for Comet here is going to start getting something back into the camp of Oregon, something to the discussion, because they can get this mid laner ahead. It might help them stay alive, because this bot lane is not going their way. They are absolutely getting slammed.
This is a very interesting start from LeBlanc, right? Usually with Corrupting Pot, you'd see a Dark Seal or 2 Dark Seals, just because of the efficiency of the item. He's gone straight for the Mercurial Tread, so going to be lacking in a little bit of damage for them, you know, for the foreseeable future. You know, he has to back, he has to spend that gold bounty that he got, and so he's not really going to be able to commit to this fight.
Oh no, this could be absolutely awful. Stick on the one with the buff. Nice flash out. And Enigma almost found that. When you think if they were just a little bit more decisive, would have had that one in the bag, but either way, still forces the flash, still keeps the pressure out, and says, I am the king of this mid lane. You may get a fancy pants kill. I'm still up 25 CS right now. And that is a fact we cannot overlook here in this mid lane, that for all the advantages Montreal have, 25 CS in an otherwise unperturbed lane, it's a fairly big deal. It's why there's a 450 gold bounty on the head of this Lysandre.
And LeBlanc with a kill doesn't even have a bounty, right? So, yeah, quite a bit of a difference there. Top lane, Sion's already starting to stack quite a bit of the health from his passive. Sorry, passive on the W, if anyone wants to correct that, but it is one of his passives. Anyway, stacking up that health, if he is allowed to continue doing this, he's going to become extremely, extremely hard to kill. The Jhin doesn't deal particularly well with tanks. The Lysandre, she has AP, but even though it's consistent, it's still not the best in the world. 3 versus 3 again. The bot lane, we've seen how this turns out.
It brought a little bit of backup this time around, though. Comet is here. He's got the kill. He's feeling good about himself, and Karma is going to get taken right on out and away. The teleport
from Lysandre.
coming back from the boom. That's going to try to get in. Leash Sin a little low, but he's going to be able to get out of that one okay. It's all the peel from Alistar, not Tanner. What can you do? Nothing! Not even able to hold them off as he goes down on the back line. Here's the curtain call. Beautifully done. Leash Sin. You have the fancy feet. One more shot will do it. And there it is. Downtown. Double kill coming out. His big magic stick hits him hard on that one. And we thought maybe not Tanner trying to peel that one out of the back. He could have done something. Instead now, their tower is going down. 3 kills found. And Montreal, just when, man, Oregon start to find some hope, they're going to take it right out and away. And keep this pressure well alive. That's the first tower now.
Well, see, that is one of the good things about having, you know, a teleported Lissandra, right? The fight's not going their way. Oh, Karma's already in the top side.
More to find this one. Karma, the only one to die, keep in mind, from that last one. And Comet goes down as well. An off-screen death for this particular hero. Not going to be able to get that one in the mid lane.
I mean, speed shoots, right? Karma comes all the way back up top lane. Mobility boots help her do it. And that's just... it's a great roam, right? They recognize the fact that Bootless is just kind of sticking around way too long. Karma has enough CC, she's got the mobility, she runs up top. They pick up a kill onto the only lane that they aren't exactly doing that well in. And that's some great, you know, macro decision, right? Just to say, okay, we aren't getting that much done, we aren't getting something in the top lane. Let's turn that around. They already turned around bot lane, mid lane's winning as well. It's now kind of just Montreal taking over the game at about 5,000 gold lead in addition to all of that, right? We've seen the fact that in the bot lane, this TP from the Lissandra compared to the LeBlanc being there, right? LeBlanc's there from the start, Lissandra TP's down. As soon as Lissandra TP's, you realize that that is like 6 more forms of CC that they can just throw at people. And as soon as you have additional CC, the fight turns in your favor, and you can absolutely just win it out.
I certainly have been making that one happen. Valve for themselves a second Cloud Drake as well. This go button side of Montreal is just getting so much more pronounced. And the lane swap, everything seems to be coming together fairly well for them. You can tell Oregon need to make a change here. They know it too. They recognize it. They're trying to find it here in this top side. Bring the Sejuani up, but looks like Montreal back to their old tricks. Here's Douchey coming in yet again. Bad news for not Tanner. This is worse news though. For, of course, Nidalee one trick, that's going to go down, not Tanner. Can he make it back? I don't think so. That's the Jin from downtown, and here's the reinforcements, but are they in enough time, you wonder? Because now, Big Magic Stick's still untouched in this fight. I think he's out scot-free. Maybe you find more on this one. The tower defense, that's the name of the game now for the University of Oregon, but even that, not going to be a whole lot for him here. Just such a decisive blow. Douchey on this Rek'Sai has been looking fantastic.
Yeah. This is quite a clinic he's been putting on so far. I mean, realistically, I'd say that... Oh, Engage coming in the mid lane again.
They want to get more. It's a knockout, though, as Poppy Mysterio says. We're not going to do that. We're just going to kind of get you right out and away. Comet back off turret plating. About to fall soon. Feels like it's been a little bit faster of a game than that, but 14 minutes, 14 kills or so. A lot of blood here on the Rift thus far, and what else can they find? Because it looks like Big Magic Stick. You know this guy's bloodthirsty. Douchey here, wherever he can get to, that's going to be where you know the fight is going to break out next, and really just does not seem like Oregon have been able to find any answer to this yet. Both members of the bot lane, 3 deaths apiece. That's almost half of their collective team. And it seems like it's only going to get worse from here. Ooh, speaking of, this could be it. That's going to be kind of coming on the Karma. Yeah. Want to get what they can out of this one, but...
Jin has ult, but no mana to use it. Oh, he actually doesn't have ult. I lied. Guess he channeled and canceled, but... with the Rek'Sai on the top lane, they certainly have the damage to finish off the sign if they catch him.
The tricky part is, can they catch him? He's actually had one of the more conservative runs of his team thus far, and you're looking at where to assign blame. Lucas Train, not really the one that you would want to look at in that regard here. He's had a fairly safe run against the Pop. He did have a couple deaths for himself, but maintained CS much
Enigma,
better than
2
anyone
levels
on the
up.
team. Yeah, holy cow, this is an attempt here, but I don't
Just
think it's the
turning
one you
on
want to make. Yeah, Comet had the front start of that one, but the clone thankfully taking most of the damage for him. Knows he can run back into this one, play it safe where he can. Still, that's got to feel a little demoralizing there. You're down 50 CS, 5-0. You did not mishear me. That's
50
rough.
CS, nearly 2 full levels. I mean, Ketchup XP certainly could help out, but it's not a jungler we're talking about. You know, he needs something else. He needs maybe a lane to himself. He needs just time to farm. The LeBlanc needing to be getting ahead early. Maybe the boots cost him more than he thought, potentially. So looking for a little bit of an advantage here. I don't know where they're actually going to get it. Obviously, the Drake coming up soon could be a pressure point for them, but they can't seem to be able to win the fights either. So picking a member, probably their best option. Question is, where can you find it? The vision line not pushed up. The dragon still not up either. No turrets down for them. They're just kind of getting shoved back across the entire map.
Yeah, and this is where you'd hope to be able to make a pick or something, kind of, you know, start to get a few just cheap kills back in your pocket, extend your ward line, and have a better chance to fight for some of these objectives. But you can tell Montreal, they're very aware of this. They're roving in groups for the most part. The only one is Big Stick, hanging out by himself, but he knows that it's not likely the Alistair Twitch combo can kill him at this point before Rek'Sai could get in and involved. Playing that one very well. It looks like the Dragon, the next step on the board here for the likes of Montreal. They're grouping around it. Didn't get a chance to see which one that was, but I'm sure it'll pop up here any second. Ooh, the Infernal Drake. That would be a big one going in the way of Montreal being able to shut this game down. Don't need more damage, but they'd love to take it. Oregon feel like, you know what, they're happy to just give that one up. That 6% not going to make or break the way this game has gone for them thus far. They're 10k in the hole, or just shy of it rather. 3 towers down. That percent damage would be great. Not going to be important enough to die for here.
Got it channeled in the mid lane. This should be tier 2 pretty easily. And probably a charge onto the tier 3 as well. I don't think that there's a way for Oregon to stop the first charge into the tier 3, and they might actually lose this completely, right? This could be an opportunity for the side of Montreal to full finish this game. They have to find the right fight though, and they really don't want to overcommit. I think that's a smart play still, because if they did overcommit, if they did, you know, potentially lose 1 to 2 members, they played the game so safe that it could be just all for naught, right? So they're going to play it safe again, take the consistent 100% play of a free charge, and back off to get more gold, more items, and return to do it again.
Yeah, it's not the most exciting League of Legends play you'll see the rest of your life, but it is clean, it is efficient, and it is the kind of play that gets you these perfect objective games. Keep in mind, they've yet to drop a tower, they've yet to drop a Drake. Only kills, and only 3 of them thus far. Maybe make it 4 here if they can get in on Adushi. That's a lot for 1, but they find him for sure. The shutdown coming through, and they give it over to Leaston. I'm sure it was just to secure. Maybe would have been better put to Comet, but either way, I don't think that they're going to mind too much. They all did get a little piece of that action, and keeping that Rek'Sai on the back foot will help a little bit here. Now it's a game of experience. Now it's trying to get these waves managed properly, get your levels back here, and save what towers you can in the process if you are the University of Oregon, because Italy one trick definitely needs a way to get back in this game. He's only 20 CS down, which doesn't feel like that many right now, given where he is. Comet, though. Yeah, this is bad news.
Cleanser already used.
No getting out of that one, but ooh, meanwhile, almost getting Mysterio, but not quite. Bounced right back away.
He's looking for that repeat of the first kill he got on Poppy, but the ultimate, right? That disengage hammer is just too strong against the Scion. Now 9k, the gulf widening even further between the two rosters. Montreal are taking an extremely commanding lead. They can probably finish this game off as soon as the Baron spawns, I would expect. They're looking for the consistent plays. Baron, definitely one of those. They have the ward line. There's nothing up past a certain point. They could bait the Baron. They could take the Baron. There's nothing that... There's no way that they could be known about what they're doing, right? And so I would just bait it, wait until they have to check, and then take a free kill.
Fancy feet getting out of that one for Enigma. Yeah, the free kill Baron seems like a pretty good deal if they can lock that one up. And like you said, the ward line going to be a great facilitator toward that. Just trying to lay the groundwork, keep those lanes pressured out, because they haven't given up a tower yet. They don't want to if they can avoid it. And a catch out here would be huge if it's on to Leash Sin. They know they want to go in. That's going to be the slow, not even.
W is in.
That's the first route. Can they get more towers
Second
there? But
route.
it's so low. Next shot will do it. They do take the tower out. So they won't get the kill they were looking for, but a tower, even better all the same. Happy to lock that one up for themselves. And meanwhile, keep in mind, Enigma
Now they go
pushing
for the Baron,
bottom.
right?
Yeah, Enigma pushing the bottom. He's got the teleport threat to do this. It's just beautiful, clean play coming out now for the likes of Montreal, and they know they can keep this one up. So shove this lane out. They'll probably get another tower, considering how low that bot lane tower is, and they have to send Comet to try to defend it. This is where the Baron is almost guaranteed if they did want to try to take that one out in a way. But it seems like they're just trying to flex elsewhere on the map. Mysterio keeping up the mid lane pressure. The rest of the side backing off. And Yushi's back to just his hard farming strategy. This is the all run in, trying to get in on the Comet. There's the ultimate for it. There's the clone. Dropped and popped immediately. Not going to find more. And
Ball forward.
yeah, doesn't want to find it. No chance of this one. Still has a teleport, but now in 2v1 has to be careful. The Claw, you gotta think, would have loved to have that for the defensive ability, but the flash out will get him away. Claw is up and can't quite dodge. That's almost certainly going to be the kill, actually. Nicely done. The shutdown does come, and the knockback, well, Mysterio.
Back to base.
Last time, he kept Bootless Trident away from the kill. This time, drops the hammer, lands on his own foot, and he has to get back out of that one. Not what he was looking for. Comet lives to see another day because of it. Now, Oregon maybe looking for more on this one. They know they have been given a chance. They want to find a little bit more. It's not going to be enough this time around. Still 7 kills in the hole. Still 10k gold down. And the first kill onto Enigma, well, that's going to feel great, especially if they can leverage it into a Drake here. They do have to be mindful of his teleport. This is what I like to see. They're not going gentle into that good night. Ooh, the ultimate, not what you need it to be here, but it doesn't matter. They're still pressing the go button. Not Tanner is in. The teleport coming down as well. This is the refuge trying to make more out of this one. Not Tanner going to go out of this one. Lee Sin trying to get out, but not going to be enough. Mysterio is on fire and getting more out of this one. Stick as well, slamming everyone down. And Lee Sin,
4 dead.
Double kill for it all. Magic Stick feeling great about the shot on that one. Comet, the only survivor. He's going to have to play overtime to try to keep this game from going bottoms up, because they could find their pick of the litter right now. Yeah, based on these death timers, I'm thinking it's going to be this Baron.
Yeah, they have to. Actually, they don't have to, but it's a very, very safe play. Right? They've been all about the safe play so far. Why stop now? This is the time to take the Baron. They are going to take it a little bit slowly because of the fact that they do have, only like 2 real damage threats, but it's going to be fast enough. Mostly because nobody's challenging. If people came to challenge, the LeBlanc in particular, being up that long, probably could have killed off the jungler. If, you don't want to take it at Infernal, you could have killed the jungler off at the Baron at the very least, but not wanting to risk it, now coming too late, and the pursuit's just not going to be there. 23 minutes, the Baron goes down, 4 Drakes to their name, 13,000 gold in the Elite. I mean, it's such a difficult game to come back from, right? Right now, what they need is that they need Montreal to make a mistake. And so far, that really hasn't happened.
No, it's been such measured, collected play from Montreal, showing why, they're one of the better teams here. Of course, they did take that first game off of UCF, something that Oregon was not able to do, maybe showing just a little bit of that divide between these two. Now, that patient play, it's been a little slow, it's been a little struggling at times, but it's definitely been nothing but effective here for the likes of Montreal and Oregon. They haven't really been able to answer it. Each time they have a kill, I think each of these 5 kills has kind of taken advantage of one of those lulls, maybe with the exception of the first blood there, where Mysterio just kind of wasn't able to come together at the right time, but every other option is just kind of Oregon finding a gap in that tempo, but it's not been enough to get them anywhere close to back into this game. And now there are wolves at the gate. The towers are all in trouble. The Baron making swift work of all of his defenses. I don't think there's much more that Oregon can hope to do here. They need to try to find a fight, so they think anyway, because they're going right on in. Lee Sin wants to get at the redemption. He's going to pop him right back out of there. Not Tanner, the second one in yet again. Maybe the first to fall. Lee Sin, though, goes for it. It's going to be holding himself on with that stopwatch, just trying to get out, but here's the flank from the back. Mysterio is there. This is going to be more popping, as Big Magic Stick is legendary. He finds his 9th kill with the double down, trying to get more out of this one. He would love it. Comet going to be very weak. Going to maybe get back to the fountain, though. They're going to try to dive for it, and Douchey, not quite what you needed to get out of that one there. Inhibitor, though, does buy him the time. Mid lane inhibitor next on the docket, perhaps, if they don't just go for these Nexus turrets, which is the backline. That's what they want to find. Comet, though, made it to the fountain safely one time. Won't get that courtesy yet again, and now right under tower. They don't give a damn. Blueless Trident going to go down for that one. He will find the Ghost, maybe get a little bit of damage back on a Mysterio. Has to be careful here in the tower. Yeah. He was able to find
death for him, but 2 deaths does not a base make, and they might actually be able to stop this. Hold that thought.
I think they can defend it out here. Yeah, I don't think this is the game ender just away. And Enigma may go down here. That's going to be only his 2nd death thus far. The only one without continuing is Big Magic Stick. This legendary streak, he is just absolutely raining right on through. And that's another one. Auto. Mercy. He's going to walk right up. He should be able to end this game. Yeah.
That's game. 3 seconds to LeBlanc. Hold that thought. Maybe LeBlanc wants to stop this, because after all, it is LeBlanc. It doesn't matter that she's down levels on her counterpart. You still do die to her as an AD carry. That's what I'm worried about. He dodges out the chain. That had landed. Things would be extremely worrisome. He gets away from that, though. Sion misses him as he dodges into the jungle. And now, even though they messed up, right? Even though Montreal made a pretty big mistake, they gave up quite a few kills. They got so much of the base and the last Nexus turret to boot. It probably doesn't matter at this point.
Yeah, there's really nothing, I think, that Oregon can do at this point to come back into this game. This is just where you start talking, hey, you know what does game number 2 look like for us? How do we adapt? How do we do a little bit better? Because, you know, you want to have a Goonie mentality anytime you play League of Legends. You never want to say die. But,
never say die. And if any of you are too young to understand that reference, I highly recommend you go out and rent the movie. See what it's all about.
Yeah.
But
worth your time.
Besides the point, go back to that.
Yeah, we can get back around to that. But yeah, either way, this is, you know, you never want to just resign yourself and give up here. But at this point,
it's about the mental recovery. We mentioned this many, many times. It's been through this season, through the last season, right? Having a strong mental matters so much in any sport, but especially in esports, right? Because in esports, usually you're not just playing best of ones, right? You're playing a series. You're playing multiple games in a row. You have multiple times to make a comeback, to get back in, to make the same thing happen, to win the game out, you know. In traditional sports, right, it's one match. You know, if you don't win the match, that's it. But this in esports, it's like you have 3 games, 5 games, sometimes 7 games against the same team, and to be able to come back, make your stand, make your case, and win it out is super, super critical to winning series out.
Yeah, not like, hang on, we'll get back to that in a second, as Douche is going to get in on the least and wants to get more out of this one. This is just the death throes if you are the side of the University of Oregon right now. Blueless trying to get back, not going to get it. This is a triple kill. This is a glory run for the jungler now. Quadra, can he get the penta? Come on, Comet, be a good sport. They're going to give it up, but no! Douchey dives in for it, can't find it. Will end at the triple kill, or sorry, quadra kill. A double credit to the Scion now, 12-28, makes it look a little bit closer than it was at the end of the day. As they do lock it down, the GGs come on through.
He did want that one.
You can't say he didn't work for it, but Douchey not able to find it at the end of the day. Will be resigned to just a quadra kill. Montreal coming through so impressive in this game to just absolutely slam Oregon. Took everything, gave nothing back but a handful of deaths. That's it. They got the Rift Herald. They got 4, maybe 5 Drakes, all 11 towers.
They got every dragon, every turret, the Rift Herald, the Baron.
It was not an objective they didn't put their hands on this game. So Oregon got a pretty tall order in front of them if they do want to come back and make this a best-of-3 series. Take it the distance. Montreal threw down the gauntlet in game number 1, and this is where you maybe got to go back to some parts of the draft and say, what can we change up here? What can we do to be a little bit more effective in the second game? We're going to give them a break to decide such things, and when we come back, we'll see whether or not they can stay alive in this series. Well, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for sticking around with us through the break. University of Oregon, University of Montreal, locked in this head-to-head still. Montreal, though, with the upper hand for sure. A commanding victory in game number 1. Everyone looking pretty good, but Jungler Douchey and mid laner Enigma, particularly, both kind of taking the hurt to them, but both outshined by that bottom lane Big Stick. Man, just killing it. Didn't die. Had one hell of a game, and we'll see now, if they can close out this series, if they can make it a quick and clean 0-2, or 2-0, I'm sorry, as players are saying they're just about ready. So we're going to pop this one just about through. Yeah, they are waiting on us. We're going to give them the go-ahead here and have everything where we need it to be for draft for game number 2. Little peek at the rankings of these guys. If you're looking at that and saying, I could do better, well, all the mid-diamonds there. It's about what we're hanging on to. And pretty lock, stock, and barrel standard stuff for this late into the JV season. Everyone hanging out and around is going to be north of High Plat here. And now with a side swap, it is going to be, of course, Montreal back onto that blue side. Red side coming out for the University of Oregon means they will have their last pick. There will be no magical fun counters in the mid lane for them if they do decide to opt that route. And we'll see what they change up in the pick and ban strategy, because so far, everything looking pretty dang identical.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, and if you're okay, there's the one adaptation, right? They thought the bot lane was too pressured, taking out the karma. There are other champions that can pressure not as easily as that one, obviously, not as free, but kind of speaking to where Oregon's at mindset-wise, right? They're saying, we want to go for another scale comp. We want to have another lane where we don't get poked out. They don't want to, contest it. They don't want to force it. At least not yet, right? The Rek'Sai also being removed could signal the start of something a little bit different. A lot of picks on the table. Jhin is going to be the lock-in, big magic stick. Very, very hard focused onto this Jhin this series.
Yeah, how could you not be after the game you had last time around? You drafted it early, and they didn't have a response to it last time either, so gotta wonder if they're going to be able to really take what they want to away from this situation. And I guess is going to be a no, but the Sejuani picking up right out through. Nothing changed up yet again, and yeah, this is the point last game where I believe they picked the support, if I'm remembering correctly. Yeah, and so they're going to opt for that yet again. This time it's Nami they're picking it in blind. Says, have a better shot. The Jhin, a little bit more disengaged potential than the Alistar there, and that's what they needed some of last game. So I don't hate this Nami pickup early. I think it leaves itself open to some counters, but they banned away the Karma. Soraka's not an option, and the Thresh as well, something that may be making its way into this one as it does get locked in there. So Alcus is going to pick that one up for himself, and now be surprised if we didn't see the jungle come out again. Not Rek'Sai this time, at least. We do know that much.
Yeah, and I think the Thresh is the other really strong lane control support, obviously. It's super, super prevalent in solo queue. It has great burst, it has great damage, it has great CC. Nami, a little bit more lane focused than the Alistar, certainly definitely trying to step up in that sense. But with the Vayne pairing, will this be enough? Will this be what the doctor ordered to get them back into the series? I'm not so sure. The Jhin Thresh is going to be incredibly hard to displace, to say the least. And I think Vayne Nami definitely going to have their work cut out for them if they want to take this lane.
Yeah, it seems the Jhin clean classic from the back play coming out. That's what we saw from Big Magic Stick. And Italy one trick, trying to be a little bit more crafty with some of those Twitch plays, and you got the stealth option as well here on the Vayne, but I'm just not sold on it based on how things went last time. Maybe this is what he needs. Maybe, has all the information at his disposal. They're going to ban the Lissandra again. Don't want to see Enigma run that one on through. Just did give him enough heartburn to say, we'll take that off the table. We'll Comet. Not going to get back up to his old tricks either. There is no last pickup of that LeBlanc here for himself, so doesn't get it. No chance. That's okay. last band coming out from Montreal. We'll see what they do decide to bring to the table. Is it something new? Is it something they've seen before? Do they go say, hey, you know what, Scion held on well enough and we don't want to see that? Well, yeah, that's exactly what they say. And he's not going to get a chance to play that one.
Yeah, they don't really want to let him do it again. Obviously, Bootless had a very good matchup in that top lane. Don't really like picking the Yorick without knowing what's going to be top lane. I'd much rather see a mid laner here, something in the vein of that Lissandra that was picked last time. You can obviously opt into other mids, but they're going to go for the Ornn. No shield anymore. He has been dropping quite low on the priority list, but with the support already locked in, there's no chance of Braum. There is a chance of Yasuo. That can be a huge thorn in Ornn's side. Whenever he tries to channel that, Ram, he wants to get a huge engage. If he doesn't have it available, it can be devastating. Yorick, the selection for the top lane. Obviously, this is a little bit more consistent than the Kayle, given that Kayle has been, kind of all over the place in terms of results. The Syndra instead of the Malzahar, and I think that this Syndra, right? When you combine that with the fact that they've already got Yorick strong lane in the top side, Jhin strong lane in the bot side with that Thresh, the Jarvan, definitely going to be able to match up the Sejuani in the jungle. You start thinking to yourself, all we need to do is wait for their mid, right? You don't even need to pressure on the Syndra. You don't need to force. You don't need to be looking for, anything super crazy. Just clear. Just push, and it's fine. This is not the game crashing, by the way. This is the spectator bug in client. It happens sometimes. We're just waiting it out to see what actually gets picked.
Curious to see how that all does unfold, of course, and we'll know as soon as you do. That's the fun of the suspense, and depending on how long that runs into the delay, we may be just into game before we know it. So, however that does come through, we will actually just update you when we get in onto the game here. That seems to be the safer run of things.
Yeah, I mean, we got it ready already, so.
So how they are going to be able to play that one compositionally, that's, well, it's hard to say without their mid laner, right?
Hard to say without the mid. I think
you had some predictions.
Obviously, the lane predictions, I think it's going to be hard to unseat the Syndra. You could opt for the LeBlanc again. I think that's a good pickup. I obviously have a very, very big bias towards Kassadin. I love Kassadin. I think that's a great counter pick into most mid laners. This is no exception, right? Kassadin does fantastically into the Syndra. Kassadin always will do fantastically into the Syndra. So to have that as an option, you can pick that. You can go for the infinite late game scaling. You can do a lot of things. But most importantly, right, what we want to see is we want to see them say, okay, we have a mid that can win lane, right? We need to be able to win this lane. We need to have a lane that's actually in our favor, or else we're going to see a repeat of last game.
Yeah, if not faster, cleaner than last time.
Orianna. That's not necessarily a winning lane. It's a 50-50. You can get kills, you can get picks. Not guaranteed, though. The range too evenly matched with the Syndra to have some kind of a poke advantage. No insane burst like the LeBlanc to have a damage advantage. Definitely outstripped by that unleashed power, especially at 6. So, going to be difficult. We have to look for Leash to make a difference this time around, right? He needs one making plays. He needs to be the one helping his team out. The cleanse is onto Enigma, so he is prepared for more engage. But still got to gank him.
Yeah, I mean, you look at Douchey here as somebody to take into account as well. Really aggressive play on that Rek'Sai early on. Now he's on the J4, something that can be much more easily rewarded for said aggressive style. And he's got some options to gank as well. I feel like this Nami and Orianna are both going to be just sending little signal flares to him that say, come gank me, to which he will happily oblige. So now the start of this could be big for Oregon. If they can just manage to not get the death down here, this would be... I don't think they have what it takes to kill Lee Sin early on enough. And yeah, of course, the Duke is Triton loading on down. It's just going to be some harassment. That's going to stunt his clear heavily. It's going to take Duke is Triton a lot of time to go ahead and set up that leash for him properly. And already a little bit of a lane advantage being built out for Mysterio there, so early enough, they're going to be happy with that record.
And talk about pressure in the Nami. Actually answering back. Remember we mentioned Tanner was going to need to do something. He's going to need to be, able to pressure. This could be the right time, right? Could be Tanner time, to say the least, right? He's going to be forcing in some kind of an advantage, hopefully soon, because they need it. It's game number 2, backs against the wall. It is time! Montreal, basically, with it all to play for. They got 2 games to close it out, and Oregon, I mean, what else can you say, but it's going to be difficult.
Already off the rip, try to get into the one, but not going to find it. And cycle back just a second. I agree with literally everything you said except one small point, being Tanner time. It is very specifically not Tanner time.
That's true.
He could not be more clear about that if he tried. So I don't know who this guy is, but I know who it is. And that's Tanner.
It is not Tanner from high school. Put it that way. Anyway.
They're holding their own a little bit better.
Rihanna.
This laning phase does seem to be a little bit better off for the Star Player market, right? I mean, they're not giving up as much, and maybe it's just their own aggression. Maybe
I think it's lane picks, right? You got to have a way to win lane. You got to have champions that can actually contest, that can actually, do something in the early phases of the game. If you don't, you get punished. You get pressured. A little bit of a knock up Mysterium, He doesn't really want to fight the Ornn, but Ornn wants to fight him, and that's kind of been the case. Hook lands. This is going to be a flavor with Sejuani coming in. It could be dangerous.
Yeah, that's flashing in just to get some priority already. Literally one trick, though, very low. Has to be careful, and that's just great positioning by the support of Montreal. Alcus, the Thresh here, just been playing out of his mind on the start of this one, and I love to see it. But what else can they turn? Because, we saw them turn the 3v3 once. Now they turned a 2v3. He is bubbled up, but still a net more damage coming through. This is just a revolving door. Yeah, wants to come and find it.
No flash in the Jhin.
I don't think they're going to be able to get this one out, though. The Thresh with the Lantern has all the options he would need there. And mercy me, he's not missing these hooks. But it will be time to back on off the health bars. They all feel low enough to where this is a little bit of Cold War syndrome, mutually assured destruction if they push it any further. So they're all going to back on off. Okay enough for now, but again, props to Oregon for holding their own a little bit more. And there's obviously you never want to see that going even in a 2v3, but at least it's not slipping by the wayside just like it was at this point last game already.
Yeah, it's just about the reason that it went that way, right, is the fact that they tried to go onto Jhin instead of turning on the Thresh who was right next to them. If they'd done that, most likely the Vayne wouldn't have dropped so low, the Vayne wouldn't have been, forced to back, and then the Sejuani wouldn't have backed off. Because the Vayne's not being forced to back, there's no reason to back off 3 versus 1. Probably get the kill there. But Jarvan, seeing this edge of aggression in the bot side, has made his way top. Not sure if he can really do much against the Ornn, though.
He is a level down, keep in mind, yeah, and has to play that one out carefully. Loses the better part of his health bar just to make the point there. Right back out. This could be Mysterio being first blood, yeah, ooh. Twice now in the solo lane.
Could be another kill.
Yeah, and Italy one trick rooted up. Not going to be able to get out. I'm certain of it. That's the shot coming down. It is a secure coming out from Alcus there. He wants to find that one. And it's a death early on to the Vayne. Doesn't feel great, but CS still somewhat competitive here. Now, this Triton, well, he's not going to be the focus there. The teleport, the Jarvan, they were close enough to maybe try to make something okay. It's a 1-for-1, all things considered. The CS differential, though, that's going to make a little bit of a splash back into the fans of Montreal. They're going to be feeling just a little bit better on that goal front. Just from the clean play that they've been building in that mid lane with the CS, in the jungle with the advantages there, and top side, too. I mean, they're down the kill, but still up 8 to 10 CS at any given time there, and that just standard of play is keeping them in the lead.
Yeah, and realistically, I mean, it's kind of due to that, fact that the Ornn didn't want TP back up top, so he's losing a bit of CS. He's gonna reclaim a lot of it, right on this wave here. But that's not everything, that's not the entire story. They are still down in the jungle again. Deutsche, I'm still very uncertain on how to pronounce it, but
the politically correct I would say is Ducci. and I'm sure he was going for douchey.
Anyway, Du versus Leash, right? You want to talk about the jungle matchup? Leash has been behind 2 games in a row now, right? He's just kind of getting out-farmed, and even though he might be getting more ganks off this game, right? He had this loop around, he had hook lands again.
Beautiful.
Want to hear the response? Turn on to this.
Nice bubble to get it
Teleport
down.
in.
Stalls him off a little bit. Alco's gonna go low here. Can they get more Vayne? Really one trick having to back it on.
No
off. They
6.
know the J4 he's here.
Hook
Nice hook. Right through traffic and doesn't matter. Finds it anyway. Enigma's there, but not even gonna get a share of this one. Comet did follow down just a little too late, and all that to say is 1 kill, and then right back into the hands of Montreal, finding themselves this early leads yet again. Have the pressure, they have it all in spades. They will not be denied.
It's going to be at least 3 plates, maybe more. I mean, with the Jarvan flags, with no Vayne, you'd have to expect this turret getting extremely close to going down on the next couple of waves, and they might back off, actually. This is very curious. Waiting for the second wave to arrive. They're going to pressure in again.
Trying to distribute a little bit more evenly what they want to get out of this one. Is really one trick. You'll be able to stall off most of those minions here, and yeah, it'll be another wave or 2 before more
Wow.
can really befall this turret. Last plate, not going to be enough.
Well, to be fair, they do have a little bit of time to take the last plate. 4
Sure.
plates go down. They have another 6 minutes to acquire it, and the gold lead already starting to build a little bit in the bot lane. You know, kill piece plus the 10 CS lead plus all the plates. It adds up rather quickly. You can see that in the overall gold reflected on that top of your screen. 2,000 now separating the 2 teams, 2,500 or so actually, and the Horn ultimate, they're going to try to get the finish.
Ooh, beautifully flashed. Have to wonder if it was necessary, but Enigma said don't want to risk it. Keeping it all safe and sound secure. Under the tip of the hat there.
If he didn't flash, he was getting ulted by Orianna for sure,
Okay.
and then that's pretty much a guaranteed death.
Sense to me. Now this tower taking a beating here in the bot lane. That's all going to go down. It will be the first tower of the game coming out for Montreal. So I thought. Looked like it was on death's door, but survived just another second. They do get to play off of it anyway, and that's going to boost them up to almost 3k gold feed just off of good CS and turret plate taking. One of the critical parts about being able to aggress early onto those towers in Montreal, they know it very well. A lot of this off the back of Alcus here. This guy's been playing very well with this Thresh. I mean, he's just hitting every single hook, and most of them, you know, some complex minion patterns. So, gotta maybe some praise onto the head there of the support for Montreal. Keeping it together well. One of the only 2 kills for his team in this game. All the action in the bot lane as well. No surprise, he's going to continue on rolling. The box does come down, but so does Sejuani. The level below the support of the enemy team, but does it matter? The stun is there. Not enough. As Alcos does go down, that will picked up by Nidalee. One trick. Back to a 2-2 toe-to-toe on the kill front, but this could be a little bit more if anything does go well with Enigma coming in. Yeah, the 4th shot as well. Perfectly teed up with the stun. Can the minion find it? It's going to be a shot through. No! I thought they might just have it, but the auto attack from the minion, not there. Would have made for some great TV, but we didn't get to see it this time around. That's okay. The tower will be nothing but ash and dust by the end of this push, though. That is what they're looking for. First turret does go down. That's all credit to Montreal. They've been playing it out well, and Alcus had to be the sacrificial lamb for it, but the gold lead marches on, still north of 3k here. And show no signs of slowing down. This could be an Ocean Drake as well, should they feel froggy enough to jump on that. Yeah,
and so far, I mean, at the very least, even if they aren't getting as much of a kill lead as they were last game, they're getting a comparable gold lead, you know? They're getting objectives off of it as well. Top lane is going a lot more poorly than it was last time, right? And I am actually quite impressed by the way that the Ornn is handling this lane. The damage increases to him obviously have paid off if he can duel somebody like a York, but yeah, this is quite interesting in terms of just being able to straight, you know, shove a York in through his Maiden, through his Ghouls, through a big wave. He's down CS because he didn't TP back up. Remember that, he saved that TP earlier, but then was forced to use it anyways and didn't get much out of it. Maybe return to the mid lane. He's trying to spell it out. He has the Horn but his team doesn't want to follow up. First objective, first neutral.
Yeah. Let's see whether or not this is something else that can come right on around 3. But there's Alka through the box. Low up Lucid. Time for that teleport to call the forge. Got Alka's low. Nice tidal wave. And that's actually going to take kill credit in the supportal combat there, douche. Trying to get more out of this one, but Enigma is there. This is all going topsy-turvy. Now he's in. Nice going, but it's going to be pulled back now by the shockwave. Now trying to find more is not Tanner. Doing what he can to heal these ones out. There it is, coming down the curtain call. Can they get more out of this one? Currently, they're up 1 kill in the fight. Could it be more? The body blocking by Comet says, no, you will not take Bootless Triton out of this one just yet. And now it looks like the top lane.
Stun Lance Force Flash.
This fight started in the pit. Now it's moving right on along to the tower doorstep, and they want to get more out of it. But the minions might just be all it takes to dissuade that one from going any further here. They're going to catch their breath. They're going to dial it on back. A lot of aggressive play coming out from the likes of Montreal, who said, we would rather die than give up a neutral objective. They had a perfect score last game. They won it again this time. They throw everything at stopping that Rift Herald. They do so successfully, come out 1 kill to the advantage as well, and have a lot of lane priority around the top side, so great reactionary play. We haven't seen them have to react a lot this series, but they've just proven that if and when they do and need to, they're on top of it.
Certainly looks like that is the case, right? Reactionary plays do tend to be a little bit easier, right? Because then you say, okay, they've used most of this, and this, and all we have to do is just pick their semi-low members, right? That's exactly what they did there. They said the Sejuani's a bit too overextended, they picked their off, get the kill, and might look to do a little bit more soon here. I think 4,000 gold lead's not exactly where they want to be at. Mysterio, almost as Triforce, soon going to be not so stoppable by the Ornn. Once he gets there, I don't know how they're going to actually address this side lane. The Ornn probably isn't going to be able to duel it out anymore. Tidal Wave misses to the side, Jhin gets lanterned out.
Oh man, that's going to be a nice double bubble though. Nice play to get Big Stick gone down. That's his first death of the series, and Alkos had nowhere to run, nowhere to hide in that one as well. And the first time we've seen a kill lead, besides First Blood, coming out now for the likes of the University of Oregon. They're throwing themselves at this. They're saying it's only a 3K, 4K disadvantage. We won't stand. We're going to find something in this game. We're going to turn on the heat. Playing a little bit more fast and loose, but it's been working well for them thus far. And better lanes seem to be going, making the difference.
A lot better.
Yeah, well, we talked about the Vayne. We were, raising some questions about it. I think Italy One Trick's been answering those questions quite well. This is maybe where he should have started in this series instead of the Twitch, because it's been working a little bit better for him.
See if it holds up though, because after all, it is still relatively early into the game. The Vayne does get stronger the later this goes. Eventually, it's going to be 2-3-shotting all of your tanks. Not so much for the ADs. You need a little bit more damage, a little bit more crit for that, of course, but oh, very close to death, both of these two members in the mid lane.
Barrier maybe saving the life of Comet there, but nice come play to try to get it back around. That's a beautiful cataclysm coming out now by Douchey there, just to get a little bit more action on it. Bring the kills back to an even keel there. Happy for a call. Yeah, maybe getting more out of this one. Not enough as the tower is going to be maybe the question below here in the top side. It's a nice hook. It's a nice playback. Perfectly rooted. That takes a lot of coordination.
Oh!
Big Magic has it in spades. Look at that kill. Beautiful.
Ultimate, it does kill if all four bullets land, but not if they mostly miss. Actually could have killed it 3.
Yeah.
In fact, Jarvan, Flag and Drag, no ultimate. Has no flash either. Gonna have to let Italy One Trick back off and away, but they're gonna get their second turret, probably their third in the mid lane as well. All 3 outers falling in relatively quick succession, and I think we've been here before. The lanes might be a bit different, but the gold lead certainly reminds me of something very recent.
Yeah, I mean, this first game, so dominant by Montreal. This time, a little bit more bloodshed coming out now, at least a little bit more even bloodshed. They're having to give up some more of their opponent. Still getting the objectives that they want to out of that, and that's what's the important part of all of this, is that objective play. They know it, they show it. They've been playing that one out very well for themselves thus far, so maybe more to come. Whether or not they can keep that pressure, that pacing out and alive, well, surrounding Infernal Drake now would be that next neutral objective that they want to find, and lo and behold, here's Oregon, maybe ready to fight for something, maybe ready to take a stand
Their second neutral objective, remember they still do have the Rift Herald. No, the stun! The Rift Herald's gonna fizzle out.
Ouch. Well, yeah, if you
lands on the Bane.
More to come. Yeah, this is absolutely going to be huge. The box finds one, but it is enough to send him to the grave. Lee Sin trying to get back in onto Enigma, but it's a double stun. This could be huge to get Comet out of this fight, and the rest of the team just rallying around, trying to break the push off, and they decide that Infernal Drake is what they want. Jarvan's already been there, already done that. Things halfway there for sure by now, and yeah, they're going to get a lead. This is going to be Drake number 2 coming down. So if we're going to lose the Rift Herald, we're at least going to punish you out for it as much as we can.
And they didn't even lose much off of losing the Rift Herald. It got saved, and then it got completely wasted because of Enigma's stun, right? Channeling it a bit too close to the enemy team, especially when they have CC that has good range, the Jarvan flag and drag, right? The wall even from the Yorick, the side of, you know, the Syndra stun as of obvious, and also the Thresh hook and flay. I mean, so many displacements, so many ways to stop that up. And we see the eye go to absolutely nothing. It was about to go off, but even so, nothing happening, nothing panning out for Oregon so far. They need to find an opening. And besides those kills, which haven't led to any macro plays, right, it's kind of just like giving them the side and then still taking the front gate. It just keeps working out.
Yeah, they call League of Legends a game of inches. You're seeing it here and now. A couple things go just slightly differently for Oregon. It's maybe looking like an entirely different game. As it is, the Rift Herald not going to be what they get to pop there. The Drake does not go their way either. And Cinderella story trying to come back in this one, not looking like it's going to have all the hope in the world. This is still definitely Montreal's game, and they're playing it as such. Knocking on the door of 20 minutes here. It's 18.5 minutes. They had a comparable gold lead last game. Pushed in, turned up the pressure, found the Baron, all the towers came down. Yeah, that's the tidal wave. Can they get more out of this one? It's a nice stun up, and they're going to try to follow it with more Sigmari, trying to get that Glacial Barrier down. Can they get more out of this one? Maybe, as Alkos is trying to run out and away.
Flash the ultimate, though. No shockwave going to happen.
Not here, so it's defensive play, just trying to play it back, and it all came down onto Alkos. Just a support there, keep in mind. That's one health bar that most of the time you're happy enough to spare to get you out of the fight. Okay.
Magic's gonna kill Nidalee.
Oh, what a predictive hook. Beautifully done. Nidalee one trick out of that one for sure. The fourth shot found that one. And made a damn strong case for it. Now Bootless Triton. Tower. He knows it. Preemptive call to Forge God. Forces an extra tower shot, but that's it as Mysterio picks that one up for himself. And now this bottom lane tower in some trouble for himself. Look at how fast he's going to be able to shred that one. That's the strength of the Yorick. Slamming that thing down every third or fourth hit there, and another inner falls on the top side as well.
Kind of like the Trundle almost, right? The Trundle in the top lane as it used to be played was you would hit the turret that fast, but you would also have the attack speed buff. He compensates for not having an attack speed buff by being nigh unkillable and having a ghost that does insane amounts of damage. So, especially after he gets this Death's Dance, which I expect him to have, third item, he's going to be absolutely unstoppable, right? The problem was, the Ornn was doing very well in the early game. Ornn tends to, do quite fantastically for himself. He has great damage, he has great bases. He doesn't scale out though. He doesn't, retain the ability to continue to bully somebody like the Yorick, a dedicated split pusher in his own right. And we see this here, right? He is starting to fall a bit behind. He is starting to get, pressured and killed under his own towers. His tower's going down. We mentioned that eventually the Yorick is not going to have somebody who can actually match him, and what would Oregon do at that point? We're starting to see it now. They just don't have an answer.
Yeah, it's really not what they wanted to come into this one with, and I think Blue was tried so hard in this top side with the Ornn pick, and really did hold on very well for a long period of time, but now CS just not looking to keep it comparable. They're 9k gold in the hole overall, and yet again, if you're looking to assign blame for this game, it's not really him you're looking at, and the rest of the team has been playing better as well. I don't think this is, just the summation of any one player's faults, but it's just been Montreal capitalizing on every little objective, playing so well as a team and so well to this objective playstyle that they're looking for. Baron is up now, the ward line, that's what they need to move up if they want to have a shot at it, but maybe it's just this last inner tower in the mid lane that they're trying to stack for. This is what separates them from having a lot more map pressure. It's a nice escape to get away from the shockwave, but they're solid forward. Got tidal wave come down as well. They're throwing everything at this one in Oregon. They have to find something, but Enigma's already on the killing spree. Can they get more out of it? The box is going to slow him up. Here's the backline shot. The curtain call is this. Curtain's now coming for Big Stick. He's going to be able to pick that one up nicely for himself. More to come maybe as well, as this tower is now certainly on the chopping block. They can just tank it up with the Yorick Ghost. And we saw how well Yorick was able to take one tower by himself. Now he's got all 4 friends here. Now he's got an inhibitor tower he's knocking on the door of. They don't want to stop. They know that Not Tanner still down. Lee Sin still down. These are some nice utility players. And that's going to be more as the hook lands. That's almost a certain death. The death sentence living up to its name as Bootless Triton goes down. Nidalee One Trick going to get double kill as well. They're just plowing through. And that's an inhibitor off the board.
Inhibitor down. Second inhibitor shortly to follow. You take a look at where their minion line is. It's right here. It's right now. And York with his ghoul is going to be able to take this tower pretty easily, I think. Second inhibitor. They will back off instead to the Drake, the Mountain Dragon, for a bonus damage onto this siege. And at this point, I mean, they might not have Baron buff anymore, but it just isn't going to matter. You know, they never had Baron buff, right?
Don't need it.
But if they pick it up, the game ends.
Oh yeah, that there. The death sentence to end the game entirely. They might honestly just rally, come back to that open inhibitor, and try to end the game if they could. I mean, that's how far ahead they are. They're a little bit quicker this time around. About a 30-minute game last time or so. Just close to it.
They actually had an opportunity to end the last game at about 23 or so minutes as
you're
well.
Right. Yeah, of course.
If you remember that they were in the base and they did have a chance to end it, but they didn't close it out, in fact. So they did have an opportunity. At this nearly same time frame, completely different composition that they were playing against. Gold lead, basically the same though. This is still 12k, it's still a huge differential. Not one that can easily be come back from. Remember, we're looking for a massive throw for Oregon to come back into this game. And so far, just hasn't happened.
I mean, even if they got that once-in-a-lifetime blessing, it would need to be a twice-in-a-series blessing because they had to go through another game. This time, though, they're throwing it all. That's a shockwave coming down. They do get out because he's stowed out of that one. Now, Lee Sin going to come down as well. Big Magic Stick trying to get more out onto this one. Can he find it with the curtain call? Tanner on the run as that's the backline onto Nidalee One Trick already. It's a double kill thus far for Big Magic Stick. He's 9, 1, and 3, and he's going to stop the back Triton. Trying to get a little bit out of that one. Not going to get enough. Flash over. Yeah, Enigma finds that kill for himself definitively.
1 versus 4. I mean,
this is the game.
That's it. That's over. There's no way that one Orianna can defend against this.
Beautifully played. The GGs do come down, and Comet knows it. He's just going to let that one slip to the wayside. No, actually, with the home guard boots, at least throwing out the ball one last time and trying to bait some fountain shenanigans, maybe, but that's going to do it at the end of the day. It's a quick, it's a clean, it's a 2-0 all from Montreal. They come through feeling great about themselves, just absolutely blasting past the University of Oregon and setting themselves up nicely for a little bit more postseason's League of Legends action.
That's just kind of it, right? There was nothing they could really do about it. They set themselves up for quite a clean macro game. It was every objective, every neutral, except for Rift Herald, which they even stopped.
Right, the one that went away from them. Yeah.
What can you say, right? Montreal had a game plan. They executed it very cleanly. They had, I would say, a decently varied amount of picks ready to go. I want to see their AD pool deepen a bit as we get further into playoffs, of course. As certain teams might say, oh, you know, you're relying on that Jhin a lot. You know, what happens if we ban it out, right?
Right.
So definitely looking to deepen their pool a little bit. Oregon does fall to the lower bracket, of course, and we'll look to see if they can make a run in the lower bracket to get all the way back up to potentially have a rematch against Montreal later.
Yeah, that's what they'd be looking for, but at the end of the day, that's going to wrap us up here in this particular season. Oregon going to come away with some notes. Montreal going to come away feeling like they're pretty dang good at League of Legends, probably after a series like that. You just, what do? You pat yourself on the back and you start getting ready for next week. That's kind of, rinse, repeat, moving right along. Next week, of course, Tuesday and Thursday is when we do all of our League of Legends action, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific, and if you're not satisfied, if you can't wait that long for more esports, well, we got some Counter-Strike coming up after this, and they're fairly late into their season as we're postseason as well, if I understand that correctly. So all that to say, I've been Kyle Corvus Crow, joined by Jeff Zeta Schnurr. We've been having a good time hanging out with you here tonight. I'm so glad to be back casting League of Legends. Do, of course, want to give a shout out to Meowing Cat for covering some of that time while I was away. And with
Thank you, Ian.
Yeah, of course, we will see you all next Tuesday. Have a great one, ladies and gentlemen.